The Voiceover Doctor presents Margaritas, Mojitos and Michrophones. At Compost Productions, we bring in the professionals for you to work with and learn from. Get behind the microphone and be directed by the best so that your performance shines. Mingle with these professionals like Rob Paulsen and Maurice LaMarche, and sometimes even the doctor himself. And let one of our talented mixologists serve you a margarita.
So what is happening this evening? I'm going to split you up into two groups, okay? Group number one is going to go in with young Rob here, and group number two are going to go in with myself and Maurice. Hey, there he is. Come on in.
Hey, Dad, look at your brain.
Yes, Pinky, we shall take over this class.
This is my friend, the brain.
I'm not a genius, I only play one on TV.
Who is this then? What's your business here? Are you now? You were at Helgen, one of the prisoners, although no one seems to know how you got mixed up in that affair. Normally, I would have welcomed someone like you, but I've heard some disturbing reports. You were seen talking to General Tullius in the castle, for example. So what do you have to say for yourself? How can I be sure you're not an Imperial spy?
Do you know who you're talking to in your mind, like as you're delivering these lines? Do you have someone that you're actually speaking to? Because part of my process is I talk to one person. And it doesn't have to be somebody in the cartoon, but it can be someone who's very important for me, someone who's hot for me, or someone who I play with and have a playful time with. So, if I were to ask you to do it again, I might say, do it again and pick somebody that you maybe have a very playful relationship with, because you're tormenting here. And you're not playing evil. One thing about playing villains is if you play them as though they know they're bad, that's a trap. Play them as though they're just enjoying what they're, enjoying the, having a little superiority after the other person, but they don't think they're bad. No villain thinks he's doing the bad thing. The villain thinks he's doing the right thing for him.
Who's in? Thank you, sir. What's your name?
Matt.
Hi, Matt. I'm Rob.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, you smooth-talking wanker. I mean that in the most lovely way. Oh, cool. This is great. Funny, psychotic, paranoid.
No, how good is that, right?
Just like me.
Be fearless. Go for it. See, I mean, this isn't real, so show them what you got.
Have you spoken to anyone? No, of course not. I do the talking, the stalking, the seeing, and the saying. And what do you do? Nothing! Not that I'm angry. No, never. Cicero understands. Cicero always understands and obeys.
Good. Well, you'll get a date. That was what I was saying. It's a little one note, and we know you can do that. So try moments that you can take some time and do sort of personality shifts. And I'm doing my best not to give line readings because I know what I would try, but I don't. That's not my job. Yeah, try that because you don't want it to be actory. You want the stuff to come out of a place of honesty, even if the honesty is goofy, kooky. So try stuff where you're almost matter of fact. Like when you get to the others, I spoke to them. They're fine, but I mean, just make it. You know what I mean? Try to make some clearer delineations between the emotions and the wackiness in your brain. Okay, go.
I've only directed these guys in casting sessions, and I've always been enamored with their talent as well. And watching Maurice teach tonight, he was reinforcing everything that I've been teaching for 15 years. he was saying to you guys about who are you talking to and where is this and are you seeing this, are you seeing that? And it kind of, reinforced, what I was doing, for 15 years going, well, I guess I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Maurice is kind of doing it too.
This is an acting job, it's just that we don't have that thing of waiting for hair lighting and makeup, and the only mark you have to hit is make sure you're standing close enough to the microphone. But other than that, it's really actually the purest form of acting, because we're not doing any of that other extraneous stuff, wardrobe at 5 fucking a.m. and but it's acting work, and I know everybody that comes to me and says, can I help me get into voiceover, people tell me I have a nice voice. A nice voice is only a small portion of it. It's not even necessarily a nice voice. Some people have annoying voices, but boy, they make a fortune of them.
How much of yourself you put into, you have these crazy little animaniacs and whatnot, and they're very your voice is manipulative, okay? But how much of that is part of you, and then you manipulate your voice into it?
There are certain characters, I think, that have my personality. Certainly you're mentioning Ninja Turtles. Raphael was kind of a smart-assy kind of guy, and that's certainly how I can be, and it wasn't too different from my sound, That's what we were talking about earlier. If you have a natural sound, you can use it. It doesn't always have to necessarily be an affectation. Raphael is pretty much like me. Shredder, you tin-faced geek, get back here and taste cold turtle steel. And it was pretty much my voice, and kind of a smart-ass. Hold the phone, I think we're on the same side, genius,
So it was more of an attitude that you brought to it.
Yeah, but now when it
How much did you bring to the box ghost?
Oh, the box ghost. Well, the box ghost is really Danny Phantom. The box ghost was really Carl Weezer turned into a totally different thing. The box ghost. It was kind of like that. It was a character I forgot. It sounded like a little Joan Cusack type of character. Oh my God, the box ghost. But there are characters that certainly I suppose little nuancy things, but like we were talking about Carl, and I'm a very extroverted person, but Carl is not. But chicks dig me. But for instance, with Carl, and we all have those abilities. I was talking about sometimes if you have an affectation that is a natural, organic choice, it can be a real character. But like with Carl, he's a little reticent, but if you notice when he says L's, he has lazy L's like Tom Brokaw. So that works with the character, and he says, I'd like to, but I have to have my inhaler. You okay, Carl? Ow, my scapula. But the thing that's interesting is that the cadence, and when you make those choices as an actor, I find that
Like if I'm talking like Yakko Warner, I can do that all day long. It's quicker, it's faster, and say, hey Batman, or hey Batman, does Dracula know he's wearing your cape? And kind of stuff like that. It's much quicker and it's faster and all that stuff like that. That I would talk, but I could do it all day long. And it's almost as though you see a snippet of the character climbing up the water tower, singing a goofy song, and then he gets off screen and he goes somewhere else.
And if you find that you can actually have those things and things come out of your mouth that wouldn't necessarily come out of Rob Paulsen's mouth, that come out of the context of the character, then you got some pieces of you in there, but you're creating something that's sort of living and breathing. And so basically, like all of us go bullshit, my line, bullshit. Yeah. So, part of it, I think I probably did more work when I was your age, when I was younger, because it was, I was still trying to find my sort of chops. Now, like we were talking about earlier, it's kind of like being in junior achievement. I've had the good fortune of learning while I'm earning while I'm learning. And so when you get to work with folks like Maurice and Mr. Welker and Billy and all those folks, you learn stuff. And also my background, I did a lot of improv and a lot of stage and music, and worked with Mr. Byers and I was able to steal things from Mr. Byers as well.
I never charged you.
Which I thought was really peculiar.
I've got some of it.
Yeah, who doesn't? But I
It's a roast.
I also have a background where my brain sort of will click in and I'll look at something. That's not right. He's sitting right over there. There are certain sensibilities that, like, you know, like for instance, it says that the other day I did something for Disney with Maria Estrada. I forgot what it was, but he's, you know, Sir Kirby, and he's a knight in shining armor, and it just says this little blurb like this. Of course, the first thing I think of is trying to do it like this. I'm trying to do it like Ronald Coleman or something like this, and see what happens there. And so those things sort of just make their own magic, and they do what they do, and the script is the script, and sometimes you throw something in there, and it works fine, if it doesn't, you're on your ass, you know?
You know, but how much of the characters that you guys do are days in advance, or the moment you look at it, and when you see a character, where do the voices come from?
I steal them from Rob Paulsen.
What do you do with a voice that you find that you really enjoy, but it's placed in a certain part of your instrument that tires you?
I fell into that same trap I was telling you to avoid, which was,
Hey, John, it was a character in which my voice was like this, and I decided I would do this.
and they go, oh my God, that's great.
It works perfectly, and come here if you dare, you know, dare, I shall take you and you'll never see your family again.
It was Don Pitts.
But yeah, I still think Don Pitts.
It was Don
Yeah,
Pitts, yeah.
right. But you know, it didn't take me long before I had the first episode where I thought,
How long are we going to do this for?
and
3 days and you'd have no choice.
oh, totally. But then, you know, if you're lucky enough to work, we're all very responsible and we're all grateful, and we know that as much as people like to work with us, we're replaceable. So when I'm doing this, I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to make sure that I know I got another gig today, and I want to. These people don't give a shit what I did when I came here. They're lovely.
Or after.
Or after. But they have every right to expect me to be as good as what they are paying me for.
Right.
So my suggestion is that if you have a voice that you like and you're comfortable with, then work on it for a while. And you can do it at home and over a weekend. And if you get a script and work on it, if you find that at the end of the script you're done, then you know, take it in steps. It may well be that the voice is a good sort of a
Is the
ancillary.
you might just need to adjust a little bit so it is in a place where you can...
Yeah, or see what you do. I mean,
I got no problem with this, but I've been doing it for a long time.
Another trick that I use, and it's just, this is, you know, just a little something to put in the hopper, is something I call the transporter accident, you know, because I'm a Trek geek. It's, you know, we've all seen the Star Trek episode where like two beings go into the transporter, come out as one. So I'll say, you know, sometimes I'll cross-pollinate voices. I'll call that the transporter accident. Where you'll take a little bit of Vincent Price and a little bit of Orson Welles.
Of course.
It'll become its own thing, you know, kind of a thing. So that's just a little trick you can try using. You know, just take your high school gym teacher and George C. Scott, and then you've got, they'll go, what do you mean character? Well, you've used somebody from your life and a famous person, and you know, it takes on a life of its own.
so I did that too. I mean, as a matter of fact, one of my heroes was Peter Sellers, you know, most of it. And I remember when we were talking about Tasmania, a good example of what Maurice is talking about. The character that I played that was a
Stupid alligator had the voice placed back here, and he was, I don't know, Bull, I think that's not a very good idea.
Yeah, my voice kind of tired. But back here, it's basically the same placement as Peter Sellers when he was playing,
You know, the guy in the chair,
Dr. Strange.
Dr. Strangelove, right?
Same placement, but a different
Right, but then
dialect.
I stole that and did a character in Animaniacs called Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this guy back here, and it's the same placement, but now you have a German accent, and you are doing, you know, you are the psychiatrist for the Warner Brothers.
But it's a totally, you know, and the same thing with if you now what character I was thinking, if I take you know Pat Buttram and you got this thing, then that's really how he talked in real life, you know. But if all of a sudden you throw in an English accent a little bit and your voice cracks, then you're the Grand Duke You know, you still have in your Grand Duke a person about whom there is absolutely no ambivalence about his sexual proclivity.
You guys have created these characters that a lot of people here have grown up with, and what is that like for you? I mean, obviously you do these things, you know, to help people out and to teach them and stuff. How rewarding is that for you guys?
They shoved this character in the brain in front of me and went, oh, well, this is their way of being nice to me. They've created a character that is based, they know my Orson Welles impression.
Your own image and likeness.
I'm sure it's merely a formality. I'll give them a lead.
I say, you bring the Bentley around for
Yes, I'll be done with just a moment outfit. Anyway, so I just threw down this Orson Welles thing, knowing the part was mine.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they didn't know, they didn't see Orson Welles. They saw their buddy Tom Minton on the page. I'm the one who saw Orson Welles because I don't know Tom Minton. I went into it with absolute confidence that, absolute confidence that the part was mine. And I don't know how much that informed the thing, but Andrea told me they stopped looking.
Yeah.
Right away.
See, that's the point at which I heard that too, that they said, pretty sure Maurice is going to do the brain.
They didn't even let, no, Andrea told me they didn't even let anybody else.
Oh, no, Maurice, you just nailed it.
And so they went, okay, now we found brain, now we need to find Pink.
Well, yeah, and
And it was almost John Astin.
John Astin was almost.
He was, by the end of the first day,
Gomez and the brain.
John Astin was their hero pick for that day for Pinky, and then Mr. Paulsen came in the next day and did that wonderful.
But interesting, Maurice and I used to work, there was a show called, you guys ever watch Tasmania?
Yeah.
Fantastic show that never got its due.
I know.
And Maurice and I worked on that show too, and Maurice played Taz's father as Bing Crosby.
Howdy-ho there, son. What seems to be wrong with the dog? Take a look at him. Yep, he's got stinky breath. That's normal for a dog. Why don't you take him down to the veterinarian? I'm gonna go do whatever the heck it is I do for a living. I'll talk to you later, son. Around episode 62, they decided that he had a brother. And his brother sounded just like Bob Hope.
How about that Antillian?
weird.
I'm gonna have her on my Simchas Torah special. So they wrote a road episode. Bob Hope and Bing Crosby go on the road, and it was literally like Taz was at the beginning of the adventure, and then
As it should be.
and no, I'm sorry. He came along, and everything bad happened to Taz, while we just bantered back and forth. And we was
you.
me. I played the whole thing off myself. And remember, I even brought just to help me stay in character, I brought a golf club.
Yeah.
So that every time I was,
Would you please do Peter Falk? Watch this.
I'm sorry to bother you. This is very embarrassing. This was actually the first impression I ever did.
Really?
I did this in the schoolyard in the 8th grade. And somehow or another, my eye won't go back.
This is our 15th Margarita, Mojitos, and Microphones.
Thank you to Steve.
This is the one that I have absolutely had the most fun. Personally, I'm personally having the time of my life.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.